Ah, Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs, it's Sebastian Envy, your strong style nerd, your strong style cinephile. Now, the Doom Patrol is here. Doom Patrol is, of course, the latest offering from the DC Comics, DC Universe subscription service. I've been interested in the Doom Patrol since we first got a look at them in their guest spot on the first season of Titans. I will confess that the Doom Patrol has never been a comic title I was ever particularly drawn to. I mean, heck, the only time I picked up an issue was a graphic novel I checked out from the library, which I actually still need to return. I got a few issues into the graphic novel, and I don't know, it just didn't grab me personally. Now, Jeremy Carver, Doom Patrol showrunner, has said that the Grant Morrison run of the comics is very much an inspiration, in particular for season 1 of the Doom Patrol. Of course, my view of this show is strictly coming from just the show itself, and not something I will hold side by side against the comic book for my pros and cons. I just want a good show. And this show, yeah, it's starting off good. It's kind of a downer, but as I said, my Nora Allen as the villain Flash video, I'm okay with darker stories that don't necessarily have a happy ending. Doom Patrol could be this. These are some damaged people dealt a crappy hand at life who are now trying to cope and find their purpose in life. We start with Cliff Steele in a rather adulterous situation and follow the events that led to his body being destroyed, leaving only his brain to be saved by Dr. Niles Calder, also known as the Chief, who's played by Timothy Dalton. Yeah, Timothy Dalton. The Chief has placed Cliff's brain inside a lumbering metal body and nurses him back to some semblance of health and life, though the world at large thinks he's dead. And through Cliff, we meet other residents of Doom Manor. Larry Trainer, who has Matthew Zuck's body but Matt Bomer in flashbacks and voice. He's a former test pilot who now has a being of pure energy riding shotgun in his body. There's Rita Farr, a Hollywood starlet from the 50s who ran away from the world after exposure and ingestion of something turned her into something akin to the Blob, which forces her to harbor a great amount of control to keep her from going jello at just any time. And then there's Crazy Jane. She's a feisty kind of young lady with 64 personalities inside her, each with their own set of powers. She sets things in motion that will place our not-so-heroic group in the crosshairs of the villain, Mr. Nobody. The villain, who's also narrating the show in a very meta, Deadpool fourth-wall-breaking kind of way. He brings us into his superhero show while at the same time taking shots at the tropes of those same superheroes. His storytelling will have you laugh out loud more than once, trust me. After the field trip goes off the rails and evil descends upon the town, our heroes, inspired, encouraged by Robot Man, walk, and one of them limps, into action as the episode ends on a kind of WTF cliffhanger. And that's okay, because you will be back to see what happens. This is just a fun group full of quirks and cracks that cause them to clash while at the same time bringing them closer together, forming this family kind of bond. Show will get some laughs and maybe even a misty eye or two. Well, at least the first episode did. It remains to be seen if the rest of the season is as strong as this pilot episode. See, one of the things I did not like about Titans was how choppy the plot unfolded. I mean, there were episodes that felt out of order in some cases, and some plot points started in one episode that did not carry over to the next. Now, I'm hoping they learn their lessons from that, and things are smoother for the Doom Patrol. We'll see. There's a litany of F-bombs in this as DC continues to flex their adult content muscles, their sex, exposed boobage, and yes, Brendan Fraser's naked rear end makes an appearance. And Fraser, yeah, for my money, he's the best part of the first episode. His story from the wreck to the truth about what really happened to him, to his dealing with who he has become. Fraser rocks some great depth and emotion and maturity. I mean, I haven't really been a big fan of his over the years, but he's doing great thus far in his role as a Robot Man. And of course, Timothy Dalton as the Chief just brings a certain gravitas as soon as he enters the room. I mean, you could tell there's something underneath the surface that while he's helping these people, in his mind anyway, he has some skeletons in the closet. Again, I'm not coming from the comic book, so if there's truth to that that's already been exposed, I don't know it. So I'm just taking it as it comes. Now, on the one hand, it sucks that DC has this once-a-week release model for their service, but by the same token, it gives us time to let the episodes rattle around in our brains for a little while longer. We could savor it a little bit more. I mean, I like binging as much as the next person, but come on, binging a 13-episode season, I know I can't be the only one who kind of zones out for 3 or 4 episodes halfway through and starts mentally kind of blending them together. Like if you gave me a pop quiz about what was going on, I'd probably fail. And then, of course, it's having to pay for another streaming service, which I vowed not to do. But with the comic book library, which has been given a boost of at least 175 issues of various titles in the last week or so, access to the DC animated stuff like Justice League and Batman Beyond, live-action DC, including old-school Flash series, well, it gives you something, to want. I mean, it makes you want to subscribe to it. But, of course, that's what? Netflix, Prime, WWE Network, Crunchyroll, and DC Universe? That's a bit much, I suppose, but, here we are. And those are a few of my thoughts on Doom Patrol Episode 1. In this little recap, we'll recap the episodes as they hit. More importantly, what are you guys out there thinking? Do you like the Doom Patrol? Do you like the tone of the show, where it's going? I know some of you out there probably read Doom Patrol comics and have more of that basis to compare it to. How does it hold up? Does it measure up? No? Yeah? Just let me know in the comments below. That's the big thing about this. Let's get some conversation going. Hope you guys out there have a good weekend set for yourselves. As I'm recording this, it's a Friday. Most people are off on Monday. Hope everybody's up to something fun. Of course, me, Saturday, CWF TV taping. I'm going places, I'm kicking faces as only I can do. So be sure to check that out if you are close by, Fate, Texas, or just be sure to check it online when stuff drops. I'll be sure to let you know when it does. In the meantime, of course, follow me on social media, interact with me there. Let's converse, man. Let's geek.